This week on the Organized Life podcast.
I am 17 years in the process of getting it together. Don't put the pressure on yourself to be where Stanley is at after 17 years when you start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just start. All that matters is that you start and you do not stop. That's the key. Now realize
Mm-hmm.
you are a human being. You are imperfect. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. And that is okay.
Hey, 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 and welcome to the Organized Life podcast, where we are creating a movement with powerful organizing strategies and systems that save you space, time, energy, and money. I am your host, Tequila Renee, the life organizing strategist, professional organizer, and the owner of Extreme Audacity Organized Solutions. And I am excited again to be with you guys here today on the Organized Life podcast, where we are creating the organized life, right? And I will keep reiterating the fact that this journey to the organized life is not just about getting your spaces in order, it's about creating a life full of peace, productivity that pushes you towards purpose. And today I am joined by my guest, Stanley Bronstein, an attorney, CPA, life coach, and multiple book author who focuses on two big missions: helping people reach their maximum potential and helping those who need it to lose weight permanently through healthy, sustainable lifestyle changes without drugs or surgeries. Welcome, Stanley.
It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. So, listen, Stanley, you're an attorney, CPA, life coach, author of multiple books. Tell us, the Organized Life listeners, a little bit more about how you got on this journey and how you got into this field of expertise.
Okay, well, there's multiple places where it started. I'll go more toward the very beginning and then go from there. Okay. When I was 8 years old, my mother died. That was a life-changing event that, to be quite honest with you, messed with my head in many ways. Um, Looking back in retrospect, it's clear to me that my mother knew she was dying from the minute I was born. And
Mm,
and I've had other family members tell me things that she said along those lines as well, because she pushed me. She didn't buy me toys, she bought me books.
gotcha.
She didn't have me play, she taught me to do math, she taught me other things, got me interested in learning. So
Mm-hmm.
she pushed me, pushed me, pushed me, and then all of a sudden, boom, she was gone.
Mm,
And I'm living with my father, who was massively obese
mm,
and good man, but massively obese, had no clue about proper nutrition or eating right. And to be honest with you, we both literally ate ourselves into oblivion.
mm.
If you look at my pictures from then, I just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. To give you an idea, a lot of men say, their goal is to be the same weight they were when they got married. Well,
Mm.
I weigh less than I did when I was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know whether that's an accomplishment or pretty sad. I don't, or
Yeah,
both.
right, right.
I don't know which, but it's the truth. Um, so went off to college. By then I was probably about 275.
Mm,
My senior year in college, I lost a bunch of weight.
okay.
But then I went back right to my old habits. Boom, weight came back on. Fast forward, I became a CPA, an accountant. That's what I studied in school. I was working with one of my older brothers, and in the middle of working with him, we got in an argument. And he starts, like brothers do, he starts screaming at me. He says, "You know what you ought to do?" And I said, "What?" He says, "You ought to go to law school." And I said, "You're absolutely right." So I showed him. I went to law school. I went at night, so it took me 4 years instead of three. I
Mm-hmm.
went part-time. but became a lawyer and totally changed my life. So there's a moral to that story, which is you can be talking to someone who's totally full of crap, which he was.
Yeah.
But you should be listening to what they're saying because some words of wisdom may accidentally come out of their mouth.
Accidentally.
Yes, and they did, and I listened. So and it changed my life. So thank you, brother. But so I did that. Then once again, I was pretty big by then. That's I got all the way up to 367 pounds at one time,
Mm-hmm.
right around then. And my last year in law school, I lost weight again. I went to Weight Watchers. I lost 100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will tell you right now. In retrospect, I'm not an advocate of Weight Watchers.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better than many other programs,
Okay.
but I think there are better ways to do it, and I
Mm.
help people learn what I think are those better ways.
Gotcha.
But I lost 100 pounds, and then got small enough to where women were interested in me,
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh.
dating. But I was still 265. Dating, wound up getting married. And then over time, I put the weight back on.
Yeah.
I got all the way back up to 320. I
Mm.
never got back up to my full 367 because of one change that I made along the way. Back when I was at 367, I used to get up in the middle of the night and I would eat full meals in the middle of the night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, full meals. So when I started out on the Weight Watchers, I was eating, all those Weight Watchers dinners with the picture on the box.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ate a lot of those. I don't recommend them just because they're loaded with sodium.
Yes.
But I didn't know that back then.
Right.
But they did teach me portion control a little bit.
Yeah.
So the way I broke myself of that habit of eating in the middle of the night, I'd get up in the middle of the night, I'd walk to the freezer, I'd pull one of those boxes out of the freezer, I would look at the picture on the box, I would imagine what it tasted like because I'd eaten tons of them.
Yeah.
I imagined it tasted like I knew exactly what it tasted like. And I said, that was delicious. And then I put it back in the freezer and I went back to sleep.
No way.
Yes. So that's a habit I still continue to this day. I mean, my wife, she'll have something on her plate that I know I shouldn't eat. I'll say, let me smell it.
Mm-mm.
And I sit there and I smell it and I go, I know what that tastes like. And then I don't eat it. And then I'm happy and I go on my way.
Uh,
So, but
Because I want to taste.
yeah, well, you got to realize first of all, you're younger than me. And you also have to realize all those things I want to taste,
Yeah.
you know, I've already eaten my lifetime share of all that stuff.
Okay.
And
Okay. Okay.
and
Okay.
and I've eaten your lifetime share, and I've probably eaten 20 other people's lifetime share.
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you.
So, at some time point, I'm on a different phase right now.
Yep.
So I got all the way back up to 320 as I was getting ready to turn 50, 4 months away from my 50th birthday.
Okay.
Well, like a lot of people, when they're hitting a milestone age, they start thinking about their life. Where are they? What have I done? Where am I
Yep.
going? What am I going to do? I ask myself, where am I going to be in 5 years if I keep doing the same thing I'm doing now?
My.
Can you guess what the answer was?
Dead.
Yes,
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
And guess what? I did not want to be dead.
Well, good.
Okay,
We didn't want you to be dead.
thank you. I had not had a heart attack yet.
Okay.
I had not had a stroke yet. I was not on high blood pressure medication yet, but I probably should have been. I
Mm.
wasn't on diabetes medication yet, but I probably should have been.
Yep.
All those things. So I turned to my wife and I said, I'm cooked. I'm done. Now, a lot of times they say you have to hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I was not at rock bottom. Believe me, I had not hit rock bottom. And I don't think you have to hit rock bottom. You just need to get fed up.
Okay.
Fed up, fed up with where you are. And I said, I'm wasting my potential. I can be so much more than I am right now.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm committing slow-acide,
Ooh.
not suicide, slow-acide. I'm slowly eating myself to death.
Mm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm going to learn to start eating better right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, not January 1st when New Year's resolutions start.
Right.
This was actually February 1st, 2009. I'd missed the January 1st resolution
Yep.
date,
Yep. Yep.
but I started anyway on February 1st. So, so I'm going to learn to start eating better right now. I'm going to learn to start exercising right now, daily, if I can, because your body's a little beat up when you're that big.
Yeah.
And I said, my exercise of choice is going to be walking.
Okay.
And the reason I picked walking was I figured it was you didn't need a lot of equipment. You could do it anywhere, anytime, and it would beat my body up less than most other forms of exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked walking. And right away I did three things. I immediately took three actions in support of that. See,
Mm.
that's the one thing I've learned. That was not the first time in my life I said I need to lose weight.
Right.
That was not the first time in my life I said I'm eating myself to death. It was the first time that I took action upon it once I said that.
Right.
And the first three things I did was I quit drinking alcohol. Done. I I won't say I was an alcoholic, but I will say I was drinking too much.
Yep.
And I will say I was serving the scotch and the scotch was not serving me.
Okay.
So I quit it. Boom, done, gone, cold turkey, gone. 2-liter bottles of soda pop.
Okay.
Diet Pepsi, caffeine free. I was drinking three of those a day. And I mean,
Ooh.
okay, surely they're diet and they're caffeine free. They must be healthy for you. No, they're not. So I quit those too right away. Done, gone. And the other thing I did, I quit eating beef and pork, red meat,
Okay.
beef and pork. And that was in some ways a big accomplishment because my father was a butcher and I grew up in a house with unlimited free meat.
Uh,
you know, and to sit there and quit eating quit eating beef and pork, that was interesting, especially
yeah.
considering I made some really good ribs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I just tasted them right now.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
I can
Me
taste them.
too.
Don't have to eat them to taste them.
Yes.
Okay, so
Ah, okay.
that's the key thing to take away from this.
You don't have to eat them to taste them.
No, you don't. Okay, now, so I started doing those things, and I started walking. Not almost every day. And by the time I turned 50, 4 months later, I'd lost about 50 pounds, close to 50 pounds. And I kept going. About 5 years into the process, I said, I want to make another push and
Mm-hmm.
go a little further. So I quit eating chicken and turkey. I still was eating eggs. I still was eating butter and cheese and that kind of stuff. But I quit eating chicken and turkey. So I essentially went vegetarian.
Gotcha.
And again, lost more weight, lost more weight. Fast forward another 5 years, which is about 7 years ago. I was still 180 pounds.
Mm.
I could not get my weight below 180 pounds. All while I was walking 10 to 15 miles every day.
Wow.
And so I said to myself, if I'm walking that much every day and I can't get the weight off, I'm doing something wrong. So
Mm-hmm.
what I figured out was you cannot exercise your way out of a poor diet. I saw
Mm.
I saw an article this morning. It said, how much walking should you do to lose 45 pounds? The answer is if you don't change your dietary habits, you can walk a million miles. You're not going to lose that 45 pounds.
Right. Right.
So the article's false.
Mm.
I also think it was AI generated.
Yeah.
But but whatever. It's wrong. It's a false premise in the article. So so I quit eating bread, butter, cheese, and ice cream. I went full-blown vegan.
Okay.
I was still eating some processed foods that were vegan foods, but they were
Right.
processed. They were processed. That came later. Well, guess what? Not only did I get below 180 pounds, I lost 50 pounds in like 5 minutes. I mean, it just the weight, because the walking I was doing, I melted.
Yeah.
The weight came right off me, and and if anything, and actually I got too skinny. And after that
Mm,
time, I put about 15 pounds back on, but it's all muscle,
gotcha.
not fat. But
Yeah.
I had to lose that weight to get a lot of the fat off.
Yeah.
Because I did this with no drugs or surgeries. I didn't have the fat cut off. Um, you know, so and since that time, I've learned to get better and better about what I eat. Things
Mm-hmm.
like I make sure I avoid salt. I avoid added salt in any of my foods.
Mm.
I avoid added sugars in any of my foods. I don't eat any processed foods,
Mm-hmm.
none, and things like that. So I do all those things. Now, here's where we start getting to what's important for your listeners.
Okay.
And first of all, organization is not just whether or not your closet is clean. And you sort of implied that in the beginning when you did your intro. A
Mm-hmm.
lot, a lot of it is whether your head is clean,
Ah.
whether your body is clean,
Yeah.
whether your spirit is clean. Because I know a lot of very organized people who are a mess
Yes.
in many ways. They are. Now, so it's all about the same principles that Tequila Renee uses for organizing
Mm-hmm.
apply to your mind, your body, and your spirit.
Absolutely.
What are the thoughts you put in your head?
Mm.
Are they good thoughts? Or are they bad thoughts? How do you organize those thoughts in your head? Do you let the
Yeah.
stinking thinking thoughts win out over the good thinking thoughts? What do you do? What about the foods you put in your body? Do you only put good, healthy food in your body, or do you put crap in your body?
Mm.
Um, how does your body have to process that? What about the
Yeah.
people, your spirit, the people you hang around, the things you do in your life?
Yeah.
You know, that's that's one of the reasons I like talking to Killer Renee right now. She's a good person. She's got
Yeah.
good thoughts in her head, good energy, good spirit. That's someone you want to talk to.
Yeah.
That's someone you want to hang around. Those are the kind of people I want to be around. So your mind, body, and spirit. Because what happens is when your mind is clicking, it feeds your body and your spirit. Here we go. When your mind is clicking, it feeds your body and your spirit. When your
Mm.
body when your body is clicking, it feeds your mind and your spirit. And when your spirit's clicking, it feeds your mind and your body. They
Oh,
are
that's good.
all they're all one thing. I'll give you an example. You see this little thing right here? You see that little person in the middle of the picture?
Uh-huh.
That's who you want to be. You want to be the person that's balanced. You want to
Yeah.
be the person that's in the middle of all those things.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a very confident guy. I'll be the
Okay.
first one to tell you. My mother, when she was alive, taught me to be very confident, believe it or not. And I
Okay.
still and even though I only had 8 years with her, I chalk a lot of that up to her. And my father didn't exactly teach me to be a wallflower either. Um,
Okay.
but, would you believe me if I told you the experience of losing 220 pounds and then going from a person, when I started out walking, I could only walk 2 or 3 blocks. Well, remember I told you I wanted to walk every day? Since 17 years ago, this is how much walking I've done in 17 years.
Mm.
I have walked 30% of the way to the moon.
Wow.
72,000 miles. Just last year, this is how much I walked. Imagine I started out in Los Angeles. I got within 300 miles of London,
Oh, wow.
and I ended up in the middle of the Atlantic. So it's a good
Uh-huh.
thing. It's a good thing I can swim.
Right.
But the point is, I don't tell you those things to show you I'm superhuman. I tell you those things to say that if I could go from a person who looked like this to a person who looks like this, the good one. And if I could go from a person who couldn't walk 2 or 3 blocks to a person who walked 5,166 miles last year, I learned that I am more powerful than I ever imagined.
Yeah.
And guess what that means?
So
If I had, yeah,
let me
yeah, go
ask you
ahead.
this. So because I wanted to ask what you thought when you thought about the organized life, what did you think? But you told us that like it's more than just about your space, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. It's
when
about your inner space too.
right. So one of the things I've talked about is the first thing you got to organize is your mind, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
that's what you're talking about. But when you talk about I'm more powerful than I realized, right? So when you look back on your journey,
Can I tell you the second part of that? Because this applies when I'm talking.
yeah,
If I'm more powerful than I ever realized, so is everyone else.
right.
But you who are listening, I am no more special than you. You are no more special than me. We are all more powerful than we ever imagined. Get that, remember that. Now go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah. So when you say I'm more powerful than I realized, when you think about that, what realization did you come to that helped you to change the way that you did things and to help you to create that because you seem like you're living the organized life, what we create here on the Organized Life podcast. What realization did you come to when you started going on that journey, and how do you help your clients to get to
Okay.
that space of creating the organized life for themselves?
Okay. What I realized was that if I'm more powerful than I ever imagined, it's time to up my game.
Okay.
It's not okay to sit where I'm at. I mean, okay, I'm 66. I have no debt. I've had a good, successful career. I could retire right now. Why should I?
Mm.
Because the other thing I learned out of the experience was that if I'm capable of doing all these things I've done, it led me to ask, what else is out there waiting for me to do that I
Mm-hmm.
haven't done yet that I should do?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the power becomes. Up your game. I wrote a whole book about that. It's called The Way of You. It divides your life into 3 parts. The first one is finding you, figuring out who you are. Then there's becoming you. When I figured out all these things I needed to do, that was finding me. I found myself. When I put all these steps into place to lose the weight and get in shape, I became myself, becoming you. Now I'm in that third phase, optimizing you.
Mm.
I've got it all together. I'm there. How do I get even better? See, that's what excellence is about. See, my system that came out of this is called the way of excellence. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But it's called the way of excellence. And the difference is the goal is not perfection. The goal is excellence.
Mm-hmm.
Because when your goal is excellence, no matter how good you are, you can always up your game. You can always get better. And
Yeah.
that's not saying you shouldn't be happy, because you should. I'm just saying, and it's not saying you shouldn't take breathers every now and then and rest on your laurels and enjoy what you've done. Absolutely, you should. You should do that every day. But you should also, when opportunity comes, up your game.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I'm doing right now. I have all these things I've been through. Look, are there things in my life, in my history, that I would change if I could? Yes. Absolutely, there are things I would change if I could. But I don't regret a single thing I've done simply because those things I did and the things I learned from the experiences I had taught me the things I know now and made me into the person I am today. And I happen to like the person I am today. I think I am a kick-ass, powerful individual on a mission to help people.
Yeah.
Not just to help myself, but
Yeah.
to help people. And when I look back at it, I can't ask her because she's not here, but I guarantee you that's a mission my mother would have been proud of.
Yeah. So let me
Yeah.
ask you this. When you say, what else is out there for me to do that I haven't done yet? How does that curiosity, that openness, help? How does that help you to create clarity and direction, especially for a person that's feeling overwhelmed and possibly stuck?
Okay, I'll tell you right now. Don't try to pull the whole thing together all at once.
Mm,
Can I tell you something? I started almost 17 years ago exactly. In 8 days, it'll be my 17th rebirth day. I call it my rebirth day.
okay.
I am 17 years in the process of getting it together. Don't put the pressure on yourself to be where Stanley is at after 17 years when you start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just start. All that matters is that you start and you do not stop. That's the key. Now realize
Hmm.
you are a human being. You are imperfect. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. And that is okay. You're going to make mistakes.
Right.
Mistakes are proof that you're trying. The question is, when you make those mistakes, do you learn from those mistakes or do you beat yourself over the head and say, I screwed up and then go back to your old habits? I'm a failure. I'm no good. I'm worthless. And go back to your old habits. And when I say all these things, trust me, they're all things I've lived through. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not saying you, the listener, are worthless. I'm saying you, these are thoughts that went through my head.
Right.
And they're thoughts that go through other human beings' heads.
Yeah. We have
The
those
point,
thoughts.
yes, the point is, remember what I said. You are special. You are more powerful than you ever imagined. I'm going to set you a goal. It is a simple goal. Okay, first thing is get started wherever you're at. Start wherever you're at. It might be as simple as I'm going to keep eating the crap I'm eating, but I'm going to start taking a 20-minute walk after dinner
Yeah.
or even a 10-minute walk, you know, or something. Or when I get up in the morning, I'm going to take a 10-minute walk or a 20-minute walk or whatever. Here's your goal. Beat yesterday. Your goal is to be better today than you were yesterday, better tomorrow than you are today.
Hmm.
And you've got to realize I am at the end of year 17 of beating yesterday. It's like putting money in the bank. Compound interest, it grows. I actually calculated something this morning. If you were to take $1,000 and stick it in the bank
Hmm.
and forget about it for 17 years, and it earned 25% interest a year, and believe me, I think when you work on your body, you can improve yourself 25% a year. So put $1,000 in the bank, 25% interest, 17 years. At the end of 17 years, you'll have $44,000. So 44 times what you had in the beginning. You know, look, this is where I started. This is where I am today. Do you think those are the same two people? No. I have the same DNA, but I'm not the same person.
Right.
And that's good. So the point is, don't overwhelm yourself. Just start wherever you can. You know, if you go to my website, I have a weight loss website. Um, there's a couple of my websites, but it's millionpoundweightloschallenge.com. Millionpoundweightloschallenge.com. It's free. You have to create an account when you go there to sign up, but it's free. And the reason why I made it where you have to create an account is I wanted to be able to control who's posting on the website because I want it to be a safe space where people can go to get good advice. I don't want it to be a place like Facebook where you got all kinds of trolls and everything else on there making fun of people. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't want that. So, but the point is, you go there, there's all kinds of challenges on there. Simple things like Walk 20 minutes a day for the next week. Can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, can you go 3 days? Can you go a whole weekend without eating flour or added sugar? 3 day challenge.
Yeah.
You know, lots of little challenges like that to
Okay.
get you started and just, but don't quit.
Don't quit. Yep.
That's the key. That's where the power comes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Stanley, when you talk about your system, the way of excellence, and how we treat excellence as a lifestyle, not a goal, how does living by systems help people stay organized mentally, physically, emotionally?
It gives you guidelines. Okay, this chart right here. Okay, this is a small version of the chart. If you look behind me on the wall, there's a big
Yeah.
version of the chart. That's 5 feet wide, that chart on the wall. It's big. But on the website you have it too.
Right. So
And
they can see
and
it on the
that yeah,
website.
yeah, and
Okay.
that's the other website, thewayofexcellence.com.
Yeah.
It's on there. And both of these sites link to each other. So, if you go to one of them at the bottom of the page, you got a link to the other one. So, you get to one of them, you can find the other one. But the
Right.
point is, it gives you guidelines as to that's why I've always been a systems thinker. My whole business career, I got paid to take complicated things and make them simple. What I did with the system was I created an operating system for being a human being. Think of it as Windows 11 or Mac OS for you or Android for human beings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's how to be excellent. And I started out, when I started out, I came up with 14 things. Then I added a 15th one, then I ultimately added five more, and I came up with 20. Because as I kept going through the system and applying it, I kept coming up with things that I left off of it. And so I came up with 20 qualities for an excellent human being. And I'm going to run through them very quickly. Okay.
Okay.
The first one is awareness, telling it like it is, not BSing yourself. That day, February 1st, 2009, when I said, if I don't make changes, I'm going to be dead. That's telling it like it is about as plainly as you can.
Yeah.
But then when you do that, that's not enough. You have to take action on it.
Is that number
So
two?
no, that's number one, the second
Okay.
part of number one. You have to take action on it. Then the second thing is start thinking long term instead of short term. Don't say, I need to lose this weight immediately. Don't say, I need to get organized immediately. Say, I'm going to work toward getting organized. Start thinking long term. You know, I used to go to Chinese buffets for lunch every day.
Mm-hmm.
That was putting my short term ahead of my long term. I enjoyed the heck out of eating that Chinese food, but it made me feel like crap and it made me fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter and more unhealthy.
Yeah.
So I was sacrificing my long term for my short term. So, and we live in a society that teaches us instant gratification. We've got Alexa, we've got Siri, we've got Amazon, we have Uber Eats, we
Mm-hmm.
have all this stuff. Get it, Chat GPT, get it instantly.
Yep.
Sometimes you need to earn what you do. Repeated short-term discipline is going to bring you long-term rewards. So that's number two. Number three, taking personal responsibility. I didn't blame my wife. I didn't blame my mother for dying when I was 8 years old. I didn't blame my father for teaching me how to eat like crap. You know, I didn't blame anybody for anything. I just said, and I didn't even blame myself. You know
Right.
why? You know
Okay.
why? Blame is irrelevant.
Yeah.
All that matters, and I wished our politicians would learn that. No matter which side you're on, stop blaming each other. All that matters is figuring out what needs to be done and then doing it.
Yep.
That's all that matters. Figure out what needs to be done and doing it. Then, for number four, embracing change. Don't fear change, embrace it. What I did was I changed my mindset about fear. Instead of being scared by this process, which is fear, forget everything and run, I changed it to fear, face everything and rise.
Okay.
Because when you confront your fear, that's where all the good stuff is, baby.
Yeah.
All the good stuff is on the other side of your fear. That think about that good-looking guy or that good-looking girl you wanted to ask out. The fun date you had with them came after you got over the fear of asking them out.
Mm-hmm.
Not before you had the fear of asking them out.
Right, right.
You know,
True.
all those things. Okay, now then here's a big one. Six, changing your perspective. I stopped saying I have to eat better. I stopped saying I have to exercise. I started saying I get to eat better. I get to exercise. When you do that, everything stops being an obligation and it starts being a privilege.
Yeah.
And when things are a privilege, you look at it differently. You know, I'll see a homeless person on the street. I don't have to give them any money. I don't have to give them any food. I get to give them money. I get to
Right.
give them food. It is my privilege. I am fortunate enough in my life where I have the ability to help somebody else. Go do it. You know what's funny? Some of the most generous people I've ever met on the planet are the people who have nothing. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I remember one time I was on a bus that was had a lot of homeless people on it,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave one of them $10, and they were with a friend who was also homeless. And you know what they did with that $10?
Gave them
They they
five.
they, they gave half of it to the friend.
Yeah, yeah. I've definitely seen some of those videos when people are, you know, homeless or whatever the case may be. They could not be homeless, but someone gives them something and they turn around and offer it back to the person, like, do you want some, or offer it to someone else. So that's so true. So let me
My
ask
my
you,
my wife watches those every day. So go
yeah,
ahead. Yeah.
your 20 steps. Can we see that on the website?
They're all on the website.
Okay, so they're
And
all on the website. So we got to six, but you guys can catch the rest on the website. So we don't have.
can I hit the last four?
Sure.
I want to hit the last four because the last four really apply.
Okay.
Okay. They are, well, four of the last five, but anyway. Willingness, 16. You have to be willing to make permanent changes in your life for the rest of your hopefully very long, very healthy, very organized life.
There you go.
You know, okay, temporary change is going to give you temporary results. Permanent change is going to give you permanent results.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to permanently change, but you don't have to change. You get to change.
Yes.
It's your privilege. Now, number 17, belief. Okay. I told you earlier, you're more powerful than you ever imagined. Believe it. Believe in your abilities, believe in your talents, believe in your ideas. You got this,
Hmm.
baby. You can
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
You really can. 18, discipline. And
Yep.
I'm not talking about punishment. I'm talking about self-discipline. For example, identifying all your negative habits and eliminating them. Okay. I told you before, I was drinking alcohol, gone. I was going to Chinese buffets, gone. I was drinking soda pop, gone. All those things. I was sitting on my butt all day, not getting any exercise, gone. And I replaced them with positive habits.
Yeah.
Eating more healthy food, good. Starting to walk every day, good. Not drinking alcohol, drinking more water and stuff like that, good. You know, eating more healthy, other stuff, all those things, good. So that's what I'm talking about. Discipline. See, everybody talks about motivation. I need to be motivated. Well, this is January 23rd. How many people do you think joined the gym for their New Year's resolution on January 1st who've already stopped going to the gym?
Yeah.
Or if they haven't stopped yet, will stop by the end of March.
Yep.
Motivation wears off. I have days where I don't feel like walking.
Right.
I have days where somebody puts something in front of me. Yeah, I'd want to eat it, but too bad. That's,
Yeah.
that's not who I am. You know, I am no longer this person. I am this person,
Mm-hmm.
the other person. And that, so I start acting that way. Now, the last one.
Yep. What's the
This is
last
this
one?
this is what makes it easier. It's called commitment.
Commitment. Okay.
When you become 100% committed to a thing, it becomes easier to do. You know why? Because it takes decision making out of the process.
Mm.
Okay, I am one of the commitments I made many years ago. I am 100% committed that no unhealthy food is going to enter my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I am 100% committed that I am going to walk at least 2 hours a day every day. You know, I am 100% committed that I only want to hang around good people, not bad people. Motivation fades. Commitment does not fade. That's the
Okay.
difference. That's the difference between motivation and commitment. It's wanting it bad enough. Remember, I said you got to be willing to do this, baby.
Okay. Okay.
You,
Okay.
it's that's the difference. It is when you are if you want to go back on something, you're not 100% committed. But before Christmas, somebody gave me gourmet cupcakes and cookies. I did not ask myself, am I going to eat these? I did not ask myself, should I eat these? I immediately said, I am not going to eat these because that
Mm.
is not what I do. And then I gave them to one of my neighbors down the street who's very skinny and loves to eat that kind of food.
Okay.
And I gave them to her. And so because I'm 100% committed to not eating that kind of stuff, if I'm having second thoughts, that means I'm not yet at 100%. But remember, I told you you're a human being. You are going to slip up. You're going to have good days. Believe me, I have bad days. I had days where I ate stuff I shouldn't eat, and I knew it too. And that's okay
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because look, I fell off the wagon. I got right back up. That's the key. If
Yeah.
you mess up, just start again.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up. Don't be hard on yourself. Just do better. That's the key. And I know I make this sound simple, and that's one of the biggest fallacies out there is everybody says, Stanley, what you do is hard. Well, no, it's not. Walking around like the person on the left side in this picture was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Doing what I
Mm-hmm.
do every day is easy compared to what I did back then.
Right.
And I actually had a reminder of that a while back. I was in Costco and I was buying 50-pound bags of bird seed. I took
Mm.
I took a cart and I put 4 50-pound bags of bird seed on the cart. So there was 200 pounds on the cart, and I had to push it all the way to the front of the store, push it out to the parking lot, push it to my car, and I was huffing and puffing while I was pushing this. And I said, I used to carry more extra weight than that on my body.
Wow.
And I started laughing when I thought about that
Yeah.
because it made me realize how far I'd come. There is
Yeah.
tremendous, we are all so powerful.
Yeah. I love that. Once a person accepts that they're more powerful than they even imagine, how can that shift in the way they approach daily habits, tasks, and routine? How can that help them shift the way that they do things?
You start pushing yourself. You start testing yourself. You start seeing where your limits are. I'll give you an example. I didn't start out saying, I want to walk 72,000 miles over the next 17 years. I didn't do that. I said, I want to see what I can do.
Right.
And over time, I figured out just how much I could do.
More
And the
than you
funny thing,
imagine. More
yeah,
than
and
you
the fun,
imagine.
yeah, and the funny thing is, I did this last year, and I could have done more. And I've actually set a goal to do a little bit more than that this year.
Mm,
And this is not even my biggest year. I had one year where I walked 5,800 miles. Now, and I do it because I can. I want to see what I can do. I want to be limitless. I
mm.
want to push myself. And I do that by focusing my mind, training my body, feeding my spirit.
Yeah,
Now, you could sit there and just as easily say, organize your mind, organize your body, organize your spirit. But
right, right.
what I'm talking about here is I'm talking about the inner work.
Yes.
I suspect a lot of what you do is the outer work.
It's
I'm talking
it
about
it's
a lot of
simultaneous. Yeah, it
yeah.
kind of happens simultaneously because some people have to actually come to the realization of some things that are actually going on inside of them. And your space is a
Yeah.
reflection. Your space is a reflection of that. And so we have to do a little bit of work. I'm not totally qualified to help them, but I am able to help them on a certain level. And then they actually do sometimes have to go get further help from a therapist or a counselor or something like that. But we do touch on like the reflection of your space is kind of looking at what it is that's going on inside of you.
Okay. I'll give you an example of that. I used to complain that people didn't respect me as much as I thought I deserved.
Mm,
All while I was walking around at 367 pounds.
mm-hmm.
So on the outside, I was showing people that on some level I didn't respect myself enough to take care of myself.
Right.
And here I'm upset that they're not respecting me. You know,
Mm.
guess what? When I started losing weight, I got a lot more respect from people. Now, I have a question for you before we go any further. Do you like to watch Hoarders as much as my wife does?
I do not.
Okay, okay.
I,
She watches it a lot.
I before I became a professional organizer, I watched it a lot.
Yeah,
Now that I'm a professional organizer, I don't watch it as much. But
it probably bothers you.
it does. I cringe at certain things, certain aspects of it. But I do love to watch some of the specialists. I've actually gotten to meet a couple of people, a couple of the professional organizers that were on the Hoarder show. I've gotten to meet them and go to conferences with them. But yeah, I can't watch it as much as I used to. I used to absolutely love it, but not anymore.
Yeah, I know, I get it, I understand. But it's all everything. See, what we're talking about here, everything is connected.
Yes.
Your inside is connected to your outside. Your mind is connected to your body and your spirit. Your body's connected to your mind and your spirit. Your spirit's connected to your mind and your body. I am connected to you. You are connected to me. We are all connected to everybody else. This planet is connected with the rest of the universe. Everything is connected. That's why it's important that if we want this world to be a better place, we all start helping each other. Because when I help you, I'm helping myself.
Yeah. True.
When you help me, you're helping yourself. When you help somebody else, all too often we always ask, what's in it for us? You
Mm-hmm.
know, well, it doesn't need to be that way. Sometimes,
Right.
I might get nothing out of helping somebody,
Mm-hmm.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
Help somebody. That's if what we're talking about helps one person, 10 people, 100 people, whatever, wonderful. I am on a mission to help people empower themselves, take charge of their lives. You would say organize their lives, but same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there. And some of the tricks are just work on being excellent and cut yourself some slack. No, you're not perfect. You're never going to be perfect.
Right.
Don't be a perfectionist. Be what I call a good enoughist.
Mm.
You know, when you hit good enough, that's great. Doesn't mean you can't be better. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try to be better. But it also means be happy where you're at and cut yourself some slack and don't beat yourself up. And remember this: where I am at, it was not a straight line.
Right.
It was zigs and zags, ups and down, backward, forward, left and right, start and stop. It was all those things,
Yeah.
So it's going to be the same way with you.
Yeah.
My goal is to help you do it easier than I did, more
Right.
efficiently than I did, faster than I did.
Yeah. So, Stanley, would you give us some final words? What would you like to leave the Organized Life listeners with? And then after you do that, tell us where we can find you and all the things. I'll definitely make sure we have your information down in the show notes or the description, depending on where you're watching this at. But leave us with some final words and then tell us where we can find you and how we can connect with you.
Okay. I've already pretty much told you the whole message. It's you are more powerful than you ever imagined. Start acting like it. You want to live in a better world? You want to have a better life? It starts with you. It's up to you. Take responsibility. Start making it happen. If you go to my website, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute, it's got all the tools you need. There are 7 of my books there, all for free, all based on the way of excellence. They're all for free. And if
Nice.
you want to also if you're concerned about weight loss, then if you go to the bottom of every page, there's a link to my weight loss website, so you can go there as well. So the two sites connect to each other,
Right.
and so just go there and start going through it. Start if you look if you want to hire me or you want to join a group that I put together, you're welcome to do that. There's a link at the bottom. You can email me, but you don't have to. Because don't get me wrong, I love money. I like money. Money's great, but this is not about the money. I'm on a mission to help people, to help you. And that's why all my books, all these videos, the whole system is there for free. If
Mhm.
people don't have money or don't want to spend money, it's there. They can help themselves. They can get going. Now that main website is thewayofexcellence.com. Thewayofexcellence.com. The other site is millionpoundweightloschallenge.com. Millionpoundweightloschallenge.com. Where that comes from is I set a goal. I like believing in big goals. I said I want to get 50,000 or more people to lose 20 or more pounds each.
Mm.
So that's 1,000,000 pounds. So
Mhm.
that's why I created that. And if you go to either one of those websites, they connect to each other. You can go through the whole system. You can get there. There on the weight loss site, there's tons of information about healthy eating.
Right.
Information. The very first page you get directed to is about awakening your new identity, how to build your new identity to, start thinking like a healthy person, not like the unhealthy person you may be. Then the second page, the pages are all numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have them numbered because I kind of to suggest an order going through the system. Number 2 is 10 things that are keeping you from losing weight.
Mm.
Things like too much salt in your diet, too much added sugar in your diet, um, eating the wrong kinds of carbs. See, everybody thinks carbs are bad. No, the wrong kind of carbs are bad.
Exactly.
Fruit, that's carb. That's great for you. That's
Right.
super for you. That's super for you. Um, Grains, whole grains, those are good for you. You know, the cereal you see in the grocery store that's got tons of added. I walk in Walmart and I walk down the cereal aisle and I start looking at the boxes. You got a whole aisle of cereal. There is only one cereal in the whole thing that does not have added sugar,
Mm.
and that is shredded wheat. That's the only one that does not have added sugar in it. Every one of them loaded with sugar, and they're running the commercials on TV telling you how healthy all this stuff is. And In my opinion, I'm saying my opinion here, I think that's bad. In my opinion, I think they should be ashamed of themselves. And I don't like that. I don't like it at all. But the solution is not for me to sit there and shame those people.
Yeah.
The solution is not for me to sit there and complain about those people. The solution is for me to educate you so that you, the listener, so that you know what to look for and you know what to do so that you can make your own informed decisions and you can get things together yourself. And I'm going to leave you with a closing thought here. All of this we talk about is about the money. So much of it. The marketing messages that we are receiving constantly, it's about the money. Let me ask you this. Have I asked you for any money during this time we're talking? Have I asked your guest for any money during this time while we're
Nope.
talking? No,
Nope.
because I want my message to be pure. I want you to know that I care about you and that what I am telling you is what I have genuinely found out to be true and what I have learned through my research and what I genuinely believe is healthy. It's not what I'm trying to sell you. It's not what I'm
Right.
trying to do to make money off you. Now, ask yourself the next time you're watching food commercials on TV, they trying to make money off you?
That's right.
Hmm? And when it becomes about the money, they start selling you stuff that's got added sugar. You know why they add sugar? Because it makes it taste good and it makes you addicted to it and it
That's
makes you want
right.
to eat more of it. And when you want to eat more of it, you spend more money with them and they make more money off you.
That's right.
And then you get sick and you got to buy the drugs. And so the drug companies make money off you. You got to go to the doctor. So your doctors make more. And don't, I'm not against doctors. You know, if I get run over by a car, please take me to the emergency room. But, you know, they're trying, you know, they make more money off of you than they need to. You got to do surgeries, the hospitals, and everything else. It's all built around the money.
Yeah.
And that's what's broken with the system. And
Yeah.
the solution is not to complain about it. The solution is to become knowledgeable and make your own decisions. Now
Right.
let's apply that to organization, since
Mm.
that's what you're about. Okay. Tequila Renee is a professional organizer who you can hire to help you. But during this podcast, she's not asking you for any money. She's not trying to sell you anything. She's trying to help you. Her message is pure.
Yeah.
She is saying it because she cares about you.
That's right.
Now, if you want to hire her, wonderful, go right ahead, knock yourself out. She's got to eat. She's got bills to pay. And that's all fine. But she is giving because that is principle number 8 in my system that we didn't quite get to.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of, you've heard of the law of attraction?
Yeah.
It's the opposite of the law of attraction. It's the law of reciprocity.
Okay.
You have to give before you get.
Hmm.
But if you apply my perspective thing, you get to give before you get. Giving is a privilege. It is my privilege to share this information with you that I've learned. It is Tequila Renee's privilege to share with you what she has learned
Yeah.
and to bring you these messages. Does all that make sense?
It does. And we thank you so much, Stanley, for all the things. You've given us so much to think about and to take with us on our journey of creating the organized life. So, you guys, thank you so much again, Stanley, for being here. And remember, you guys,
You're welcome.
thank you. Yes. If you want to create the organized life, if you're putting some strategy or system in place that's not saving you in all 4 areas, space, time, energy, and money, remember you want to tweak it, you want to revisit it, try to change it up. Remember to try to put more into what's actually working for you than what's not working. And so if you want to be a guest here on the podcast, if you have a question for me or one of my guests here on the podcast, feel free to send us an email at info@extremeaudacity.com, and we'll get you into rotation. We'll get your question into rotation, and we would love to have you here. And with that being said, once again, thank you, Stanley, for being here. And until next time, ciao.